Welcome to Whispers of the Web, where the hidden gems of the web come to life. Join us as we unravel the most fascinating tales, secrets, and discussions from across the web. Every whisper has a story. If you enjoy our journey through the whispers of the web, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the intrigue. Story number 1. Karen demanded I clean spilled ice cream. I'm an electrician. I was working in a grocery store replacing all 1,956 fluorescent light bulbs with LED bulbs. I was packing a cart of old bulbs to the back to dispose of them, and as I walked I heard, "Hey you." I ignored it till I heard it again. I turned to look around and heard her say, "Yeah, you." And the Karen stormed up to me. "Pick that up," she demanded while pointing at an ice cream container broken on the ground, her voice full of entitlement. "I don't work here," I said, thinking that would explain everything. "Well then, what are you doing here?" she demanded, irritated that I dared to contradict her. "I'm changing light bulbs," I said, wondering what her problem was. She grabbed my shoulder and brought her face an inch from mine and growled, "That means you work here, so clean it up." I then realized that I was dealing with a crazy person, so I just said, "Okay," to make her leave me alone. An actual worker at the store saw the whole thing and waved me off and cleaned it, while I went on with my day. The whole experience was weird. Story number 2. Elderly man at my local Food Lion. I, 39 non-binary, do the grocery shopping for my family, including my parents who I live with. Mainly because I have the time, but also because I enjoy it. It gets me away from the house, and I'm a bit of an organizational nerd. I enjoy playing grocery Tetris in the cart. I like finding deals. I enjoy clipping coupons. I even have a list of each aisle and what's on it for maximum grocery list planning. So, my grocers know me. They recognize me. If they don't see me for a while, they charge up like my favorite auntie, hands on hips, "Where have you been? Why haven't you been in to see me?" I love my store. So, this happened a few years ago, around the first year of the pandemic. I'd stopped in to pick up a few things. I had written things down a bit out of order because I'd scribbled it while I was at work. I had my store map though and was consulting it when I nearly bumped into an older gentleman. When I say older, I don't mean 50s. This man was closer to 80. He apologized and seemed flustered, so I asked him if he was all right. "I'm lost," he said despairingly. "I can't find X." I can't remember what he'd been looking for. It might have been sugar or coffee or something simple like that. I glanced at my map to confirm before telling him which aisle. He thanked me and then, completely bereft and almost seeming to give up, said, "My wife used to do the shopping for us. 50 years. She's been gone a month and I don't know how to do this." My heart instantly broke. I asked him what else he was looking for. He showed me his list. I accompanied him while we found all the items he'd come looking for and a few others. It wasn't much, the bare essentials for a single man for the week, and we were done in about 15 minutes. As we shopped, we talked. His wife had caught COVID and fought for almost 4 weeks before passing away. I ended up giving him my map, hoping it would help him as he acclimated to this new task. As he headed for the checkout and I prepared to go back to my shopping, I still only had 2 or 3 of my own items in my basket. I heard him say to one of the floor managers, "That young lady right there deserves a raise." The floor manager smiled at me and said, "Oh, I'd love to, but she doesn't work here." The old man looked at me, tears in his eyes, and thanked me. I told him I'd been happy to do it. I still am. It's been 3 years and I still think about him from time to time, worrying if he's okay. TLDR. I helped an old man with his grocery shopping and he thought I worked there, but I didn't. Story number 3. I'm not your maid. We are staying at a hotel visiting family for the holiday weekend. I was going to surprise the hubby by bringing him a cup of coffee to wake him up, but when I walked in the room, I tripped on the dog and spilled it. I grabbed a few hand towels, cleaned the mess, rinsed them out, and walked out the door to find housekeeping. As soon as I closed my room door, the lady across the hall opened hers and started telling me what she needed for her room cleaning. I looked at her and interrupted. "I'm staying here just like you." "I'm not the maid," she replied, "but you're holding hand towels." I told that yes I am, but that's because I too am looking for housekeeping. She stopped for a moment and pondered my words, and then we both started laughing. She excused herself and told me she was in town for a funeral and wasn't altogether because of that. I expressed my condolences and told her to wait there and went and got housekeeping for both of us. So not as horrible as some I read on Reddit, but holiday fun nonetheless. Edit. Forgot to mention I was still in my pajamas and definitely not wearing a housekeeping uniform. Story number 4. You're on the floor, you must work here. Woke up to 4 sick kids. So, I do as any responsible parent and keep them home from school and give ol' worky poo a heads up I won't be coming in. Now, I know that calling in on a Monday after the holiday weekend is a huge no-no, so I'm already stressed, you know? But they can suck it, 'cause I'll do whatever is in the best interest of my children. Which led me to going to the store. I started to feel ill and wanted to get to Kroger before it all hit me. My wife stayed back with the kids, as she wasn't feeling well either. So, I run to the store. I grab some popsicles, Gatorade, etc., for some feverish kids. Then, I head over to the medication area to get some chest rub and those shower crystals to help you breathe in the shower. Some lady is in front of me the whole way there. She is knocking stuff off the shelves and then stopping everyone, because you can't get around her, while she picks it up. And the whole time she's mumbling to herself about how people will just have to wait and she's sorry but it's just how it is, yada yada yada. I decide to go the opposite way around the store to avoid her. I found what I needed on the bottom shelf. I'm really tall. I don't like to bend all the way down there. I take a knee. I'm looking and comparing prices when I hear, "Where is?" I ignore it as background noise, but then this lady, the same one inconveniencing everyone from earlier, gets right up close to me. And then she has the audacity to say, "You're on the floor, you must work here." "Where is blah blah blah," is all I heard after that. So, I grabbed the things I wanted and she asked again, "Do you know where?" And I stood up, looked her dead in the eyes and as firm as possible without being rude said, "No." I didn't offer any follow-up after my one-word answer. I thought that should have been efficient to get the point across. But it wasn't enough for this lady. She went on to insist I work there and should know where the thing is. That's when I turned on aggravated beyond all recognition parenting mode. And I realized, at this point, this lady would just not get it. So I leaned down and I looked her in the eyes again and said, "What makes you think I work here? Do I have a name tag? Do I have a uniform? Did I answer your questions and offer any help?" And she says she didn't mean to insult me. So I told her she's very insulting, and I don't even work here. Imagine how insulted the actual employees would feel to be approached like that. And then I walked away. Edit to add that I have gotten some good feedback. However, I have decided I'm going to take a new approach to this kind of situation. Next time, I'm going to tell them they should know where it is because they manage the place. Then, I'll proceed to bitch about another imaginary employee. And I might just ask them for a raise for always going above and beyond. Then maybe, just maybe, if I see an unhappy customer, I'll direct them to the manager I just appointed to make any complaints. Story number 5. Crunch time in the parking lot. This happened last week after my son's soccer practice. I just had a few minutes between finishing work and having to drive my son, 10 male, to soccer. So I did what I normally do and grabbed the first shirt off the top of the pile in the drawer and put it on, without a second thought. I work from home, so I haven't shaved for a few days, so I did look a bit grungy. At the same time, my wife had laid out my son's clothes for soccer, including a bright yellow soccer shirt with the appropriate overpriced logo on it. It wasn't until some other parents at the practice started teasing me that we were shirt twins that I realized that the shirt I was wearing was also bright yellow, sans logo. So we laughed, the kids practiced and all was good. During practice, my wife messaged me and asked if we could pick up some groceries, like milk and bread, so we drove over to the local grocery store, a typical day. When we got to the store, the closest parking spot had a few carts in it, so my son helpfully got out to move the carts while I pulled in. He pushed a few to the return area nearby, and kept one for us, again a typical boring day getting groceries. As I got out and grabbed the cart my son left for me, and he came back, some woman parked next to us was putting her groceries in her SUV and we heard her say something like, "I'm done with my cart," but of course we didn't pay attention. About 30 seconds later, we heard metal scraping on metal, and turned to see the lady backed into the cart she left behind her SUV. As we started chuckling, she got out of the car and started yelling at my son that he was supposed to take the cart, and now he has to pay the damages because he didn't do his job. My son wavered between laughing, crying, and running because it was funny, but he is shy and didn't know what to do. She then started in on me, and said my employee didn't take the cart, just as others, including the cart people with the bright orange vest, started coming around to try to understand what was happening. Avoiding cursing in front of my son, I told her to shut up. He obviously doesn't work here, since number 1, he is wearing a soccer uniform with a giant swoosh on the front. And number 2, he is a 10-year-old kid. She then started saying I should have moved the cart since obviously my yellow shirt meant I worked there, and the crowd of 5 or 6 people who formed started laughing at her. The cart guy walked up to her and told her he needed her to come into the store to talk to the manager because of the damages, and that he will make sure we will be taken care of. We checked that there was no damage to our car, and got the groceries, and when we were checking out, a cashier ushered us to a new lane that had no line so we could get out quickly while the lady was still heard arguing with the manager about insurance. Thank you for joining us in today's journey through the whispers of the web. Share your thoughts and suggestions for our next adventure. If you're not yet a part of our whispering community, click the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications to never miss out on another story. Join us next time as we uncover another enthralling tale from the web. Until our next whisper.